And joining us right now, you know what that music means. It's time for some Rays of Light with Marcus Ray. And folks, Marcus was down on the field prior to the game, and he heard a little verbal javelin going on with the Appalachian State team. And Marcus, have you seen the highlights of the United States FIBA basketball team taking on New Zealand? Have you seen those yet?
No, I haven't seen those yet.
So you haven't seen the New Zealand team doing the pregame war dance at the Americans? That's
I saw something where a couple of players, like, their face looked a little surprised.
Right.
Confused.
They were, yeah, exactly. They were surprised. They were confused by the intimidation, or at least the attempted intimidation that was going on by New Zealand. I sense now, in retrospect, Marcus, that maybe a little of that was at play versus App State last week for Michigan.
Yeah, and, App State didn't know what they were in for. And to their credit, they were coming on a one-game win streak in the series. And, they were all excited, believing the hype. But I think deep down they knew that they weren't very good. They were trying to find a way to psych themselves up.
Yeah, all right, so let's get into the game, Marcus, and start on the offensive side of the football. We'll work our way over to the defense. But, the play of the line, the play of Devin Gardner, the two probably the most maligned aspects of the team, just assess for me their respective performances on Saturday.
Offensive line played a lot better at times. Now, I watched the tape. The honeymoon is over. We ran the ball well, all that good stuff. But there were a couple of things that I noticed. And Michigan is a better zone blocking team where where the linemen blocked an area. And I would say I'm going to say two positions without saying names, left tackle and right guard. They actually struggled with movement defensively up front. But when they had a stationary target, they were able to control their line of scrimmage, or at least work to the second level a little bit better. But I was glad that Michigan was able to play with some consistency. It wasn't like they had a lot of negative plays all the time, but the offensive line wasn't perfect. I think that it was very clear to me that Doug Nussmeier was not going to allow Devin Gardner to beat Michigan. So what he did was his play calling on first down was very effective, using the quick game pass. I saw the same thing with Ohio State and their quarterback. But it looked like everybody was having fun. I think Nussmeier telegraphs when Devin Funchess is going to get the ball. And sometimes when you see long runs by running backs, it's primarily for three reasons. But great blocking is number one. The second one is poor run support in the secondary. I guarantee you that those young running backs won't have the luxury of seeing defensive backs and linebackers jump into the wrong gaps and miss a lot of tackles. But to their credit, they made the plays. I was happy to see the offense be explosive. It took a little while for them to explode, but I think Michigan's going to be all right.
Give me your take on how you think Graham Glasgow affects the composition of the line. Is it Jack Miller's job until he loses it? Is it a battle in practice this week? Or does Graham Glasgow just slide back in as the returning starter?
Well, it's going to always be a battle, Sam. And you got to understand that this team hasn't done anything yet for anybody to feel safe. And just a week ago, everybody's worried about Brady not having headsets, not worried about captains. But see, that's what winning does. See, when you leave all the other stuff alone and you start winning, then it's going to force people to get on the boat. And what I mean is, there's been a competition at Michigan for 8-9 months now. So every play, every day, every practice is going to be competitive. It just provides depth. Jack Miller, I watched him. He had some great blocks at times, and there were some times where he got dominated. And that's a position that's going to need some consistency. So the only way for Miller to run away with the position is for him not to get dominated and show some signs of weakness at times. Mm-hmm. But an athletic nose tackle or one technique is going to cause Jack Miller some problems. So hopefully when Glasgow comes back, if Miller isn't dominating or doing what he has to do this week, then you can slide Glasgow in there and hopefully find somebody who can play with some consistency. Because I watch football with a different eye, and so you're supposed to dominate who you're supposed to dominate.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get on somebody, those are guys that punch at their weight. I call them boxers, like a middleweight boxer. But when they got to punch up, there might be some problems.
Gotcha. Well, I think it's a great observation about their increased effectiveness in the zone scheme. Michigan ran the inside zone really, really well. And I'm curious, when you look at the running back breakdown, and we're talking to Marcus Ray for some rays of light here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTK.com. I thought you saw both backs. Devion, immediately, you could see him kind of feel the hole, kind of find the hole. And Derek, I think, got there the more carries he got.
Yeah, actually, I think Derek played with a lot more vision. I was glad to see him make some plays with his feet and jump cut a few times and really get out in the open field. Devion, seems like it took, like you said, it took a second for some things to open up. But he hit it when it did. I just want him to go see the track coach and get some knee bend. You know what I mean? Like, and he's probably he's not very fast, but he can be a lot faster. Somebody taught him how to run. So, but he's a powerful kid.
So Marcus, Marcus, could you beat him in a foot race in your day?
In my day?
In your day.
Oh, I would have smoked Devion like a black and mild. Now today, he'll run me over and all that good stuff. But no, I'm saying because he has the ability to get there. I'm saying, if he extends his stride, he might hit home runs all the time. Once he got through there. But it's just learning how to run. He's only in his second year. But I like how Devion initiates contact. It's almost like they have a 1-2 punch. But Devion will run you over. Like when that one touchdown, he didn't have to run that boy over. He could have ran to the pylon.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted to send a message. And I think that kind of stuff intimidates defensive backs or guys who don't want it. They turn it down. But, at first Derek was letting guys take him down too easily. I said, come on, Derek, here we go again where you're going down with the first man. But then, he just turned it up a notch. So it takes backs like that, a few carries, a rhythm. They understand, okay, this play might work better than this play, and they start seeing daylight. But I think both of those young backs know when they went back and watched the tape that it's not going to always be like that. Because there are going to be some linebackers who are going to stay in their gap. There's going to be some secondary guys who are going to run support, not fall down, and not just run themselves out of the play. So those young guys got their confidence going. That's better than 125 yards a game last year, which Michigan ran for. So to see them have success running the ball, they did what they were supposed to do. If they would have struggled, everybody would have been complaining. So then, in this world, you're not going to make everybody happy, Sam, because people want to take stuff away from them, saying, well, that was just App State. Let's just wait till. I'm not sold until, well, you ain't going to never be sold until they play maybe Utah or Michigan State. But I was happy to see the positive plays, the non-negative plays, if you will. And Nussmeier, I'm watching old Dougie Fresh because he can't fool me. I see how his play calling each series, different formations, and he's going to be one of the reasons why Michigan is very improved in both the passing and the running.
All right, last one for you on the offensive side before we get to a break and come back and talk defense in Notre Dame. You mentioned Devin in passing, a very efficient game. Some of that obviously dictated by the play call. Some of it dictated just by him. Marcus, he made some plays down the field. He was smart with the football. He checked into some good plays. Most notably, one of the 60-yard runs by Derek that he checked into, which Brady talked a lot about. And then Devin Funchess, man. Devin Gardner said he thinks the kid has the talent to be, the best receiver to ever play here. I'm curious what you see when you look at Devin Funchess.
Oh, when I see Funchess, I see a kid that he's a football player. I don't think he's a wide receiver or a tight end. I think he's just a hybrid matchup problem with size and speed. It's obvious that he's worked on his catching ability because he didn't always catch every pass. And you can see him really making an effort to catch the ball with his hands. I think Nussmeier telegraphs when Funchess is getting the ball. It's obvious that, especially if it's first down and he's wide, then, he's going to run a boot pass and let him sit in the flats or throw him a quick bubble. And down in the red zone, he moved him to the number 3 wide receiver, which is the old Anquan Bolden play that the Ravens use, and right down the seam and on a linebacker on the double move. So when you have All-American safeties and corners and people that can really snuff that out, Nussmeier's not going to be able to do that. But I think Devin Gardner felt a lot comfortable. He wasn't under a lot of pressure, and he stood in the pocket. There were times when he could have run the football, like on Devin Funchess' first touchdown, I believe, one across the middle. Gardner could have ran that. Last year he would have ran. He would play him running for his life. But he actually stood in there and did what Nussmeier wanted him to do, which was let the system work for you. Gardner made some great throws too now. And I think being able to throw the bubble or a quick pass, one time when Michigan was in 2nd and 11 or 12, if you really watch, he just raised up, threw the ball to Devin Funchess. They picked up 8 yards just to get it to 3rd and 4. Just on a quick hitch, kind of raised up and high. It's called a smoke pass. Raise up and throw it to him, just to stay out of negative situations. We're going to learn a lot about Michigan when they're in long yardage situations. Let's say Saturday in 2nd and 14, or you get that holding penalty now, and then now you're on 3rd and 12. But the thing is, Nussmeier, Funchess, and Gardner had Michigan's offense in very manageable situations, which allowed him to play chess and box and leave the defensive coordinator off guard, off balance.